is Africana. Did you know that freedom isn't just about running away? It's about finding yourself. This is Timmy's story. Watch, listen, and subscribe.
The first time Timmy jumped the school fence, he felt like his chest would explode. Not from fear, but from the rush of it. Timmy was 15, tall for his age but always quiet in class. Teachers often said he was too slow, even when he knew the answer but preferred to keep it to himself. At home, it was the same story. His father gave instructions like a soldier, his mother repeated them like a second command. Wake up, sweep the compound, read your books, stop wasting time. Every day felt like someone was pushing him into a small box, locking the lid, and expecting him not to complain. That morning, it was Mr. Ajayi, the mathematics teacher, who pushed him too far. Timmy had solved the problem on the board. He didn't get the right answer, but he had tried. Instead of explaining, Mr. Ajayi called him useless in front of everyone and asked him to kneel for the rest of the period. Laughter from the back of the class stabbed at him like pins. His knees hurt against the rough floor, but what pained him more was the way everyone just accepted it. During break, Timmy slipped away from his classmates. He stood behind the last classroom block, staring at the wall that separated the school from the road. The fence was tall and cracked in some places. He had looked at it many times before but never thought of crossing it. That day, something inside him snapped. He didn't care about rules anymore. He placed his hands on the rough wall, pulled himself up, and climbed. His palms burned, his trousers tore at the knee, but when he jumped down on the other side, he laughed quietly to himself. For the first time, he felt alive. The street outside was buzzing. Hawkers pushed wheelbarrows of oranges, shouting their prices. Okada riders argued with passengers. Car horns blasted, mixing with the smell of roasted corn from a roadside stand. It was noisy, rough, and free. Nobody there cared if his socks were white or if his exercise books were neat. Nobody asked him to kneel. Timmy walked aimlessly at first. He bought a bottle of Coke with the little change he had in his pocket and sipped it slowly, watching life happen around him. On a dusty field nearby, some boys were playing football with an old ball. They were not wearing uniforms, and nobody was marking attendance. He wished he could join, but he just stood watching, smiling as one boy dribbled past the others. Later, he found an old man sitting under a mango tree, surrounded by younger children. The man was telling them a story about a tortoise that tricked a leopard. Timmy sat a little distance away and listened. The man's voice was calm, and the children laughed loudly when the tortoise won. For the first time in a long time, Timmy felt peace. But he knew he couldn't stay out forever. By evening, he turned back. Climbing the fence again was harder, but he managed. His classmates looked at him with suspicion when he returned, dust on his shirt and sweat on his face. Nobody said anything, but he knew they would talk. When the closing bell rang, he went home slowly, dragging his feet. His father was waiting at the door. News had already reached him, probably from another teacher or a classmate. "Where did you go?" his father asked, voice hard. Timmy swallowed. "Outside." "Outside where? Do you want to disgrace this family?" He didn't answer. His father's anger was a storm, words raining on him like stones. His mother's voice joined in, softer but still cutting. He was grounded, beaten, warned never to try it again. But even while they shouted, Timmy felt a small smile tugging at his lips. Not out of disrespect, but because he had discovered something important: the world was bigger than fences. That night, lying on his bed, he replayed the day in his mind, the street noise, the football match, the old man's story. Freedom was not perfect, but it was real. The next week, Timmy didn't jump the fence again. He stayed in class, did his work, and followed instructions. But he carried the memory with him like a hidden treasure. Anytime a teacher shouted or his father's voice rose, he would close his eyes for a second and remember the feel of his hands on that cracked wall, the sting of landing on the other side. and the taste of cold Coke on his tongue. And slowly, something changed. He began to speak more in class, not loudly, but with confidence. He answered questions even when he was unsure. He raised small objections at home, respectfully but firmly. His father didn't like it, but his mother noticed. One evening, as she served him food, she said quietly, "You are different these days." What happened? Timmy only smiled. He couldn't explain it in words. How could he tell her that freedom was like air? You don't know how much you need it until you breathe it for yourself.